Jonas Salk, born on 20th October 1914 in New York, USA. Died on 23rd June 1995 in California, USA. Jonas Salk said, "Intuition will tell the thinking mind. Intuition will tell the thinking mind where to look next, Jonas Edward Salk was an American virologist and medical researcher who developed one of the first successful polio vaccines. He was born in New York City and attended the City College of New York and New York University School of Medicine, later choosing to do medical research instead of becoming a practicing physician. He began an internship at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City in 1939. 2 years later, he was granted a fellowship at the University of Michigan, where he spent several years studying flu viruses with his mentor Thomas Francis. In 1947, Salk accepted a professorship in the School of Medicine at the University of Pittsburgh. It was there that he undertook a project to determine the number of different types of polio virus, starting in 1948 with funding from the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis. Salk saw an opportunity to extend this project towards developing a vaccine against polio, and he gathered a research team and devoted himself to this work for the next 7 years. The field trial set up to test the Salk vaccine was, according to O'Neill, the most elaborate program of its kind in history, involving 20,000 physicians and public health officers, 64,000 school personnel, and 220,000 volunteers. Over 1.8 million school children took part in the trial. Before the Salk vaccine was introduced in 1955, polio was considered one of the most serious public health problems in the world, and epidemics were increasingly devastating in the post-war United States. 1952 US epidemic, in which 3,145 people died and 21,269 were left with some form of paralysis, was the worst polio outbreak in the nation's history, and most of the victims were children. According to a 2009 PBS documentary, apart from the atomic bomb, America's greatest fear was polio. Apart from the atomic bomb, America's greatest fear was polio. Apart from the atomic bomb, America's greatest fear was polio. News of the vaccine's success was first made public on April 12, 1955. Salk was immediately hailed as a miracle worker, and chose to not patent the vaccine or seek any profit from it in order to maximize its global distribution. An immediate rush to vaccinate began in both the United States and around the world. Many countries began polio immunization campaigns using Salk's vaccine, including Canada, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, West Germany, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Belgium. Less than 25 years later, domestic transmission of polio has been completely eliminated in the United States of America. In 1963, Salk founded the Salk Institute for Biological Studies in La Jolla, California, which is today a center for medical and scientific research. He continued to conduct research and publish books in his later years, focusing in his last years on the search for a vaccine against HIV. Salk also campaigned vigorously for mandatory vaccination throughout the rest of the life, calling the universal vaccination of children against disease a moral commitment. Salk's personal papers are today stored in Giesel Library at the University of California, San Diego. Jonas Salk said, "Intuition will tell the thinking mind where to look next." Intuition. The amount of people he used, 1.8 million people, 22,000 workers, huge amount of people just to find out a vaccine, a trial to make sure the vaccine works much better. That kind of the hardest work, the roar of 1,000-man warrior. Not only he roared the 1,000 men, he carried the people, the total amount of people to roar like 1,000-man warrior. And then, only then, intuition will tell the thinking mind. Jonas Salk understood intuition will tell the thinking. People thought intuition is you go to an astrologer, you go to a medicine man, you go to a priest, you go to a Swami, and then he will give you a vara, and then that is done. Those are the weakest thinking mind to create destruction. Intuition will tell the thinking mind. Intuition will only tell the thinking mind. Intuition will only tell the conscious mind. If the intuition will tell only the conscious mind if that particular person is deeply involved in the roar of a 1,000-man warrior. In the hardest work, any scientific truth will come out. Any real truth, permanent truth will come. I don't think scientific truth are that truthful, but a spiritual truthful world will open up in front of you. Yes, that is what intuition will tell the thinking mind. Where to look next, where to look next. It will immediately tell where to look next. Not even tell you where to look next. The next opens and the next happens. You don't have to think, what will you do with the next? You can see, and you walk and 1,000 people walk behind me. Mahatma Gandhi walked. Intuition will tell the thinking mind. Mahatma used his mind and he made sure that he walked the length and breadth of the country. He walked and 1,000 people walked behind him. Apart from the atomic bomb, America's greatest fear was polio. Apart from the atomic bomb, America's greatest fear was polio, and that fear created Jonas Salk, one of the sons of the soil of America, one of the sons of the soils of America, one of the sons of soils of America, one of the sons of the soils of America took up the challenge history involving 20,000 physicians, public health officers, 64,000 school personnel, and 220,000 volunteers. Over 1.8 million school children took part in the trial. What a greatest war mechanism. What is the greatest war mechanism he has created to find out the trial of the polio, to stop the disease from spreading. And apart from the atomic, America's greatest fear of polio, a son was born, and the son founded polio. Now in this country, we have to find out a son who can be born to wipe out the tears, to bring down the poverty. The greatest fear for America, apart from the atomic bomb, the greatest fear of India, of the poverty. It's our poverty. Greatest fear. Apart from what is happening in this country of God, we got freedom, etc. The greatest fear is the poverty. How to eliminate poverty? Simple method. How to eliminate? Simple method. Let all the ashrams were the greatest virus creation. They were creating lazy people in the ashrams. Lazy people. Hundreds and thousands of lazy people have been dumped into the ashrams, creating nothing except doing some yoga. Where is the karma yoga? Where is the bomb of a 1,000-man warrior? Where is the roar of a 1,000-man warrior? If the ashrams have made every person, everyone, yoga people who are practicing there as a 1,000-man warrior, there couldn't have been any poverty at all. Surrounding the ashrams, 10 kilometers to 100 kilometers, not a single poverty. Only rainwater harvesting, solar and wind energy, and medicinal plants. And that every one person who could roar like a 1,000-man warrior, they go and carpet bomb the length and breadth of the country. That should be the fear of this country. A son should be born to find out the cure for this polio. And a son in America was born by the name of Jonas Salk. Where is the son or a daughter is born in India to wipe out the poverty? The poverty is simple. Make the people go back to create the joint family. The joint family, do not go and sit in the joint family. The moment you go, create any monkey as the head of the family. Let it be any monkey at the head of the family. Create any monkey at the head of the family. Let him be there. But create the system. Create the timetable that everybody will go to the joint family once a week, once in 15 days, once in a month, or once in 6 months, once in a year. They all go there to make sure whether they have done the yoga, whether the rainwater harvesting, which has been done in the joint family, could create another 1,000 villages, could help another bit, that rainwater harvesting, the solar and the wind energy and the medicinal plants and the yoga shastras that you have practiced and created a power man, a Tarzan man. Every boy of that particular joint family have got a Tarzan like a body. He will jump and climb and jump and dance in the trees to pluck and pull down things. And his mind will work. Intuition will tell the thinking mind. Jonas, intuition will tell the thinking mind. Intuition, the hardest work. Every child should be made to work like 1,000-man warrior, including the girl and the boy. Girls have been suppressed to make them think they should be soft. They should softness like the Japanese girl. They are very soft, but deep down they are very, very powerful. Jonas Salk said intuition will tell the thinking mind where to look next. Where you do not have to look next, intuition will just take. Intuition is nothing but hardest work. All of the intuitions are cheats. They are not permanent. They never had a spiritual look. They never had a spirit. Spirit will only take you forward. Spirit will make even the oceans give way. Spirit will make the mountains give way. In that spirit is the deep, deep, intimate relationship of your love relationship. The love relationship. The intuition will tell the thinking mind. Intuition is your love relationship with your wife, with your children, with your family, with your joint family and the family tree. Where to look next will never come. It has already happened and it is excess. You have to only share it up. You have to only lock the rainwater to as much as possible for the next 3 years, because 1 year rainwater collected, you can use it for 3 years, they say, including the solar. If we can succeed only on that one, we can succeed. We do not need any of the big factories. Factories are just creating only diseases left and right and creating only 2% reached, who controls 98% of the wealth of the country, is continuing. Jonas Salk said, intuition will tell the thinking mind where to look next. Apart from the atomic bomb, America's greatest fear was polio. Apart from that, America did not have, apart from the poverty of my Indian land, apart from the poverty of Indian land, India's greatest fear should be not using the solar and the wind energy and the rainwater harvesting. If you understood that one, apart from the poverty, India's greatest fear should be that the joint family system is broken, how to stitch it back. If we can stitch it back, I think there is no poverty at all. I challenge, and I am telling you, it is the gospel of truth. Please understand me. Gospel of truth. Let us dissect. Let us stop people rushing up to the ashrams. Please, all the ashrams shut down. You have to shut down at any cost. Otherwise, you have to create another big industry. All the 10,000 people in each one ashram, 1,000 people in the ashram should work like 1,000-man warrior. And surrounding, not 10 kilometers. If 1,000 people are there, it should 1,000 kilometers of richness you should create. Otherwise, do not allow the ashrams to continue. Stop the ashrams like the ashram Swamiji's, or Baba, or Shri, or Mamada, whatever you call it, or Satta, whatever it is. Let them go to houses, let them walk to houses, let them carry a baking ball and go to house. You are making people come with a baking ball into the ashram. That strategy is gone wrong. Because of that strategy, we are living in poverty. We will continue to beg. We will continue to beg again and again in the Western countries by making our people very weak by sitting in the ashrams and in the Himalayas. I am thinking it is my truth. I felt it. I hope you should also feel it. You must be feeling now, which I've been talking from last 223 short discourses. It is the truth and permanent truth, spiritual truth, and it comes with the spirit of the roar of a 1,000-man warrior. Jonas Salk said, intuition will tell the thinking mind where to look next, because apart from the atomic bomb, America's greatest fear was polio, and he as a son was born in American soil to clear up that fear. I was looking for a son or a daughter in this land to be born. Awake, rise, not till the goal is reached. This is my 224th short discourse.